Hey. So let me open this and we can start it up. Hey.
Why does that sound better for you? I tried doing that in my microphone and the pop filter catches it.
Cause you suck.
I have 2 cavities that have to get filled now. I just went to the dentist today. Sorry, it's bothering me.
I was not ready for that. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 7 of the Market Podcast. I am the one, the only, the one that's always here, never leaving, never forsaking you.
Except you were late.
Oops.
We don't talk about that. I'm Wesley. What's going on?
Hello, my name's Hag.
What it is, it's your boy. Let's get it right, because we ain't never wrong.
Except when he's wrong.
Which I'm never wrong.
So what's your name?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. I always win Pokemon battles. Isn't that right, Wesley?
Alright, and of course,
You're damn scrumpulous.
behind the technology over here.
Behind the podcast.
Hi,
It's
I'm
true,
Nico.
Yeah.
All in my ears.
And I'm in your ears.
Yeah, all sultry.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so...
That reminds me, did you see McCree's, or McCree, I guess.
McCree,
You
yeah.
see Matt Mercer's cosplay of his own character?
Yeah, that's all.
That looked great. That looks great.
Look real good.
All right, let's get into this podcast, boys.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to do this because I've been playing Pokemon literally since like last night, and it's
He's
You're-
disoriented.
not
You're
good.
telling me your brain's washed right now.
it's not good.
Basically.
All right,
It's not
so
good.
Hike, take things
Alright,
and go.
Take us
why
away,
don't
man.
I'm gonna push this back to you because we're gonna talk about what games we've been playing.
I was gonna say, probably
and
the
you've been
worst
playing
idea.
Pokemon. You've
I
got Pokemon.
stepped out of my league shell
It's Pokemon.
and I'm playing Pokemon. Yeah, I got Pokemon about maybe like 4
Sword?
days. Yeah, Sword. Before like 4 days after it came out or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for like 2 or 3 days, and then I put it down for a week. And then yesterday morning, I picked it up while I was at work, and I was playing a little bit. And then I came home, didn't play too much of it. And then last night at 10, I picked it up and played it until like 11:30. Then I woke up this morning at 5 because my work schedule's been waking me up at 5. And even though I don't have work today, and I like sat in bed, looked at Twitter or whatever, and then went, I'm gonna play Pokemon, and then I haven't stopped.
He's been playing Pokemon literally all day, other than to get Trey, I guess.
Yeah, I was playing Pokemon on my like when I stopped to get something to eat while I was waiting for him. But yeah,
My goodness.
I was playing Pokemon like all day.
Glad to hear you weren't playing Pokemon while driving. Although there's an app for that.
Most call it Pokemon Go.
Exactly.
True. I'm
So
not there yet.
How do you feel about the game so far?
Oh, I like it a lot. It's really the story is whatever. My boy Shofizi opened my eyes, told me not to worry about the story, and I realized I don't care about the story. So, all I care about is getting mons and prepping to
See,
battle.
I thought you knew that.
See, I don't know. It's just I'm a story person, so like I want to enjoy the story. So I sit there and I'm upset, and then that's what happens with Pokemon games for me. Is I want to enjoy the story. Story's not there, and I get bored and put the game down as a whole, which I shouldn't do that. I should disregard the story.
Yeah, I guess.
Bulk up my mons.
I guess like small PSA to people. You should always keep in mind why you're playing this game, why you're playing
Yes.
like any game, not just Pokemon, because that will decide whether or not you like the game.
Yes.
So you know, in Wesley's case, if he were playing it for story, then he's probably not gonna like Pokemon because
Yeah.
Pokemon's never really had a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never
It's-
really gotten into Pokemon like this. This is
Right.
the first time.
It's-
And that's because I stopped caring about the story.
For the most part, it's predictable. It's really not that challenging at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like you don't play it for the story. You play it to battle Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm having lots of fun.
Yeah. Oh, guess I'm next.
Yeah. What you been doing, Trey? It sounds like an update came out for one of your favorite games.
Before I get to that,
Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. You know, it was light.
I'm gonna test and see if you're like freaking throw you across the street. But I finished Pokemon. I like it. Again, still has problems, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not upset that I spent $60 on it. Then I hopped into the Blaze Blue Cross Tag update 2.0, the update that I've been waiting so long for. I have yet to like seriously practice with anyone, but I've like tried out all the characters, you know, played around with them, see how they move, and I like most of them. I think there's only one that I don't care for that much, and I think that they require more practice for me to like them.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what they do. I like their jams.
Yes.
That's about it for me.
All right, that's cool. There's a tank in the game now, isn't there?
Ah, yes, the tank. The tank needs some getting used to. If you are willing to embrace the meme, then the tank is for you. He is the meme character, more so than any other meme character.
That's great.
Yeah,
Because you're
man.
literally just...
A tank.
It's a tank with a skull on it. That's the character.
And
Something
but-
similar from like a Metal Gear game or
But if
something
you put
like
it,
that.
if you put in the practice, man, you'll be a well-oiled machine.
I showed Wesley and Kenyatta. I briefly ran over the characters.
No one got my
Mhm.
joke.
Shut up. I briefly like ran through the characters, and they were just like easily. They were like easily half of this shit is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah,
I can't wait to practice later tonight. But what about you, Nico?
Huh?
All right, Nico's too loud.
All right, Nico's senile.
Nico is too loud.
Sorry.
I think I might actually be
did
too loud too.
Trey heard a noise, so I turned on the gains on everyone a little bit and turned
Mhm.
up the levels a teeny bit. So
Yes.
Yeah.
we might have to make some slight adjustments again.
Good.
So okay.
That's all right.
But
That's why I'm much louder now. That's all right.
Yeah, since last week, I beat Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I bought the wonderful art book. Yeah. Game was awesome. If you're at all interested in it, I highly recommend it. You know, the day this episode comes out is Black Friday, so pick it up if you're interested.
Happy Blacksmiths.
Oh yeah, I hope
Fucking
you guys had a
blacksmith.
good Thanksgiving as well, because
Oh, yes.
we'll miss that by the next podcast.
This is
so,
the Thanksgiving episode.
I suppose.
Where's our turkey?
I don't know about that, Chief.
It's definitely not in my stomach because I'm sure hungry.
Rev up those fryers, because I am sure hungry for...
All of you are degenerates, and I'm quitting this.
Why?
podcast.
Why? It seems like you put the lead characters in here at a random time. That's not a turkey.
Is it the closest? That's the closest one, though, right?
It's the only. It's the
I
one that
don't
has
know.
the highest likelihood of
Brahm's
being
got a
turkey.
lot of meat on him. you know?
Audience, does this look like a turkey to you?
But if you know Kog'Maw, then he can eat the most turkeys out of anyone.
And upchuck it.
What your point? He can still eat the
Disgusting.
turkey.
This is not a turkey.
That doesn't change the fact that he can eat turkeys, and you
But
are what
he
you
ain't-
eat, so he eats turkeys.
I
If
knew
he's
you were gonna
spinning
say
it
that.
back out, he ain't getting any net gains, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
No, you know
Put
what?
that back.
All right.
Turn off the podcast.
All right.
All right, let's get it right into it. What does the market have for us today in the shop?
Before we jump to
We
shop,
Okay.
own the pod. We
I
own
guess
the
not.
market, so we know what's
I just
here.
got to work, man.
They don't know what's here. Well, you late.
He said
You
that
got
already.
2 more before you're fired.
I brought you.
Two more. That wasn't my choice.
That wasn't your choice.
You're responsible for bringing me to work.
He's the one
and
that
you
was holding this
failed.
up.
So all right, fine. You take my strike and yours. So you have 1 more time to be late. 1. All right, so I'll be sending out applications to take Wesley's place over the weekend. Let me know. Just hit me up if you're interested.
so we have one clarification from last week's episode that I discovered. We talked about the developer that makes Black Desert Online. They revealed 3 games last time.
Yes.
There was a game called Dokvi, which I said was a mobile MMO, but I was incorrect. That's because the article lied to me. But
Oh.
apparently this is an MMO for PC and consoles, and it actually looks kind of cool. Our friend Carrie seemed pretty excited for it. That's how I learned that it was not for mobile. It's more of a kitty-looking thing, but like it looks kind of good. Like it looks kind of like Pokemon level, like kind of kitty, but
Oh,
like
okay.
looking interesting. So actually, it's supposed to be something like Pokemon.
What game
And
is this again?
it's called Dokvi. It was just announced recently. It's supposed to be
Okay.
somewhat like Pokemon, but like cooler, apparently.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I mean, you could check it out. We could check out the trailer if we wanted to, but because there is a trailer.
Nah.
It's just Dokv, one word. But sounds
Like-
like Doke, Doke,
And
V.
Okay.
But it's one word.
Doke.
I'm sure
Donkey.
I'm sure it's pronounced
Not
differently.
what I said.
If it's one word,
Yeah, it looks like there's like an accent of some sort.
Would it be like
over the E.
Dokev? Dokev?
Wait, what is this?
No,
duck
the
ass
V is
nigga, man?
capital. So it's like a conjoined thing.
Alright.
Do.
They're
Okay.
weird.
Check it out on your own time. It might be
Five.
interesting.
God, why can't everyone else in the world just learn English?
Pearl Abyss. That was the name of the developer.
God, I can't believe them.
Yeah.
Alright, well.
So now we can go window shopping.
Ooh.
We have a fair bit of stuff this week. We got
what's in the window?
What's in the shop, boss?
We got like 9-10 things to talk about. The last one's pretty big, actually.
So, boys.
So first things first. You guys remember Amy Hennig, right? She
Not at
is
all.
the former director of Uncharted. She created Uncharted, actually, and she left during the development of Uncharted 4 and then moved off to do her own thing. Eventually, she was heading up the Star Wars project at Visceral Games, which was also then shuttered. The studio was shuttered and the project was canceled. Or they don't say it was canceled. They say it was transitioned, but it's really not going to
So
be
canceled.
It's not going to be the same at all. So she has now joined forces with Skydance Media, which is a movie production company, to form a new game studio. And Julian Beek, a former EA executive, is also joining her. This is coming from David Gill at DualShockers, this article. So Skydance is a movie production company that's responsible for franchises such as Mission Impossible, Star Trek, and the recently released Terminator Dark Fate. So, they make some big movies. And then, so this is a quote from the article. It says, quote, "The interactive media landscape is continually changing, and Amy and Julian are creative and visionary leaders of this evolution," says David Ellison, CEO of Skydance Media, via a statement. Quote, "Together we will create this new sphere, create within this new sphere the same type of event-level entertainment experiences that Skydance is known for in features and television." Quote. So, good for her, because she hasn't been able to release a game in like 10 years.
Yeah,
Because
she's trying to do a big.
She left during Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 had a whole thing where like they changed management. Neil Druckmann took over, and then for the creative side of the game, and then she hasn't released a game since then, since Uncharted 3. So, yeah.
Shouldn't have left.
So good to see though,
Actually, I
because
don't know the situation.
Visceral Games was a sad situation. That whole thing with EA shutting that studio down.
I vaguely remember it.
EA strikes again.
Yeah, that was
Well,
like
they
the whole.
struck again.
There was a whole thing where like the game was struggling with development because of a whole number of things. Part of it was Amy and like the team not really like connecting well with like their vision and stuff like that, and the way that they kind of work together. Part of it was the Frostbite engine being forced upon the developers, which they're not doing anymore, because Jedi Fallen Order was just released on Unreal Engine 4. So they took a step in the right direction of not requiring every game to use this engine. That was only previously used for dice games, so first-person shooters.
Mm-hmm.
But the Visceral Games game was supposed to be a third-person game. So yeah, I mean that's it on that. That's like I said, good for her. Good for her to finally get a studio, her own studio going.
Hopefully it works out.
Yeah, they're starting a studio, so they have the opportunity to build it the way they want to see it. And interesting that they're partnering with a movie studio. That shows promise for what hopefully would be a good high cinematic game, high quality cinematic game. I hope so. We shall see. All right, guys. Next, we gotta talk more about PlayStation. Now, this pissed me off.
Oh boy.
Because I thought this wasn't the case, and I was lied to. So, we saw a patent recently from Sony that was like a cartridge of some sort. And we were like, okay, this clearly doesn't work for PlayStation 5's games, if it's going to be for the PlayStation 5. We were under the impression that it was for PlayStation.
Yes.
That wasn't the case.
Really?
It was the same situation as last time. It's for a toy thing that Sony makes called the Sony Toyo.
Great.
This
What
is this
does
is
it do?
This is the I don't know. It's some weird like digital thing, like with like controllers and buttons. It's not a game. I didn't look too much into it.
Okay.
It's spelled Sony Toyo Toio. If anyone wants to check it out. This was discovered by or confirmed by Let's Go Digital, which is the guys that ran this story originally.
So in other words, you weren't lied to. You assumed.
No, I
And you
wasn't
made an
misled.
ass out of you and me.
I think it was just him.
No, the
You're right.
picture
You're an
actually the
asshole.
PlayStation on it. Cheap.
This is how you become an asshole.
The picture literally just said PlayStation on it when we saw it. That's why I was like, okay, I thought this was a PlayStation patent.
Oh, so you assume that PlayStation's not good enough to make toys? You thought, no, they couldn't possibly make money off of that. That's what you're saying.
But what you're saying to me is that the PlayStation 4 isn't a toy.
So what you're saying to me is they can't make money off of other toys.
What?
That's what gave you room to assume.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're an ass. You and me.
So this is the sad
Not
part
me.
of this.
So it's actually just ass me.
Semantics, ladies and gentlemen. Semantics.
Quiet ass me.
This happened once before, with a patent being leaked or not leaked, but shown that was looked like a cartridge of some sort, but it turned out to be for the Toyo, but it was a different model device. So that's disappointing. But we do have some good news about the exact same topic.
Being.
So I guess there's that. Nico, pull this up for us. The first article. It appears the PlayStation 5's new SSD technology will come in the form of a new Samsung NVMe SSD.
Oh.
So this is reported by Daniel Ahmad. I think Ahmad.
Ahmed.
In a Tokyo presentation for Samsung on November 25th, they revealed they're working on a new NVMe SSD. So NVMe is for those who don't know, it's basically like a really fast SSD. It's a step up from your traditional SATA SSD. That both me and Nico have on our computers. But they're making a new kind, and they said it will be used in an upcoming game console next year. They said that straight up. And so
Alright.
then there's this graphic from the slide from the presentation. You can clearly see a DualShock back there, so
Yeah.
you know what it's for. I don't know what that is on the left. It looks like a PS4 Pro with a hard drive sticking out the front. I'm
It
confused.
looks like it's just showing through.
Yeah, I guess that's why. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
it
like
looks like it's just showing.
they're showing
through.
up DualShock, so it's like they said upcoming console, so it clearly means they're talking about PlayStation. It could be the same thing being used in the Xbox One. We don't know, but that's what it says. So the thing is that based on what they said, this is being designed specifically for gaming. It's meant to lower load times on games, which is exactly what PlayStation and Xbox have been talking about.
Please
doing.
utilize that.
I'm looking forward to it. Every time I play games like Death Stranding and stuff like that, I realize, wouldn't it just be nice? Because Death Stranding doesn't have many loading screens because most of it's a whole open world. But there's occasional points when you're switching chapters and things like that, which happens every now and then, where there's a short loading screen. You're like, what if it just wasn't here? Like, what if it was just like, or even if it was just like episode 3, start, and you just press the button and it went. And that was just the way it switched scenes.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait. I can't
Smooth,
wait. It's gonna be
fast.
amazing. Just thinking back to Skyrim, which I don't really know. I know Nico can relate, but I think I had the worst because I played Skyrim on the 360. The load screens for that game are terrible,
Like anywhere from like, no matter what
especially
you're
if you
doing.
die.
I mean, they tried to. Didn't they
All the
try
way
to-
back, it takes like 30 seconds to a minute to load the shit.
Didn't they try to like go like here?
Well,
Oh,
Whoa.
something's happening.
is that Clark?
That's a Discord call.
Oh, this is not something I expected.
That's
to
Bethesda
happen.
calling us, asking us to stop talking shit.
All right. Well, I guess. Holy shit.
Sorry
Sorry about that, folks.
Put your Discord on Do Not Disturb. Just do that.
It's on streamer mode, man.
Out the person who's
I don't think
calling.
that matters.
You. Out them right now.
Do not disturb.
Say their full name.
We already said it. Cheap.
Do not receive.
It's Sir
okay.
Clarkington.
My
but
bad.
Yeah, so it talks about. Look at that. Look at this in this graphics. It's loading time comparison per seconds. Hard drive is 49. SSD hard drive is system boot. Hard drive is 49. SATA SSD is 29. Optimized NVMe SSD, no number, but it's much lower. And then same goes for loading Monster Hunter as the example here. It takes about 13 seconds to launch Monster Hunter on an SSD, and it's even shorter on an optimized NVMe SSD. So that's the thing about this is that you can just stick any NVMe SSD into these new consoles, and it will work pretty quickly. But the benefit here is that it's a new SSD that's optimized for the console, meaning that it knows what hardware it's in. So it's going to be able to perform faster.
Yeah.
Which is one of the benefits of console games in the first place. And the other thing is, now the question is, what is this going to be in terms of... There's got to be a way to upgrade your storage.
Has to be.
And I doubt they're going to let you put a hard drive in there. Like, you think it would, at this point, with where technology is going and with what they're advertising with these new SSDs, they have to be able to let us put actual SSDs in there. So I guess the question now is, are they going to let you upgrade that one? Are they going to give you a separate NVMe slot to put your own in? Are they going to use SATA and just say you can only put SSDs in here? Like SATA SSDs, because at least that's faster than a hard drive.
I wonder if they'll sell them too.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why although the patent was ultimately not for the PlayStation, it made sense to be.
Yeah.
I figured it was going to be. The patent had like 12 pins, which apparently didn't line up with SATA, but I was like, I don't really know if that matters. If they make their own interface, as long as it works, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't really care if they sell their own, and that's what they have to do, as long as they're reasonably priced. We're not talking about PS Vita memory cards here. That was terrible. Oh my God, that's terrible, especially in 2019.
Yeah.
As long as it's reasonably priced and they go on sale and things like that, and they're not too hard to buy. Because the assumption is that it's going to have 1 terabyte of storage on launch, because it's a sweet spot between not giving you too little and not costing them too much to put it into the console. Because 1 terabyte is pretty cheap. 1 terabyte NVMe is a little over $100 at this point. I just saw a 1 terabyte SATA SSD for $87, which is great.
Yeah.
You can get like a 2 terabyte hard drive for that, and that's like a really big difference there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. They have to do something. There's going to have to be a way to upgrade your storage. I don't know what it'll be. I mean, hell, maybe it'll end up being external NVMe drives,
Yeah.
which is possible too. You don't see that very often, but it's possible.
I mean, people already
Well, actually, no.
have external drives in the first place, so it's not like...
Oh, but you couldn't do that, though. You'd need to... Because you can't pass that over USB 3.0.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Either you'd have to do a few things. Either you have to use the latest USB standard, which is they changed the whole naming convention. But we're gonna call it USB 3.2. Or you'd have to do something like you'd have to get like some sort of PCIe plug, wire, or even an eSATA, but that would still lose speed.
Yeah.
People who don't know tech don't know what I'm talking
I
about.
know.
Trey's looking at me like I'm speaking a different language.
Yeah.
It's all right though.
We got lost in the sauce, alright?
Yeah.
All I know is there are a bunch of different acronyms: ASNB, NBC,
Cheat.
at 3 a.m. in the morning.
You forgot to carry the 3.
Oh, I carry the 3 and the 4.
Oh man.
I probably need to carry the 6 and the tooth.
For the tooth.
I'm curious about what they'll do. I'm
Yeah.
curious. Or maybe we'll just get to a point where it's like you don't need that much storage because you're gonna have to manage your games better and you'll have game streaming. I don't know. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for E3. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
That's all I'm saying.
E3 is going to be so
We're only 6
good
months
this
away
year.
now. We're only about 6 months away. Well, no, about 7. About 7 months away. We're almost halfway there. So, last thing to round out the PS5 news is there was a rumor that surfaced revealing that the PS5 will launch on November 20th, 2020 and cost $499, which is a pretty reasonable expectation. That's a Friday in November, the Friday before Black Friday, and that's $499, which is the cost that we expect and hope for it to be.
I more or less expected about that.
This came from the same guys that revealed something. I can't remember now.
I saw it.
I didn't write it down because
It might have been the
I didn't care too much about
SSD
going too deep into
rumors, but I could be wrong.
I think that might have been what it was.
But at this point, that's not true. So
Yeah. Oh no, I remember what it was. It was the release date of The Last of Us Part 2.
yes,
That's what it was. That's who leaked it. So it could be real, and it wouldn't surprise me. It's a reasonable date and a reasonable price. So that's what we expected. Looking forward to E3 though, like I said.
It's going to be exciting.
Real good. Real good.
We recently passed this past week or two is the 6th anniversary of these new consoles.
Oh yeah.
So
6 years. Wow.
I know it's been forever now. And
Don't
next
feel
year will be
like it.
7. By the time the next one comes out, it'll be 7.
God, wow.
Almost a
That
decade
really
already.
doesn't feel like it.
Well, it's 6 years right now. More than half a decade. At this
Well,
point,
like I'm saying, when it hits
If you
7,
if
it's
you
almost
round
a decade.
up,
I suppose.
if you round up,
When it hits,
3 years is a lot of time, Wesley.
I get.
To be rounding. You know
But
what
that's
I'm saying?
still almost a decade.
All
it's
right.
we get it. Wesley
That's
is
almost
silly.
10
Wesley
years.
is silly at math.
It's actually basically the same length as the 7th generation. All right, more game stuff, more next gen stuff. Sounds like Amazon's going to announce its own game streaming service next year.
Of course, I mean Amazon is trying to
Now,
take over.
I'll tell you why. Well, let me tell you why we think of this, and I'll tell you why this makes sense. 2 sources familiar with the goings-on at Amazon have confirmed that Amazon has begun hiring from other major companies like Microsoft to help them build their entry into the game streaming market. This is coming from William D'Angelo at VG Charts. And so, yeah, the reason why this makes sense is because Amazon, for those who don't know, they have a very large cloud infrastructure business on the side. They are the biggest company that does that. They have the most market share. I think it's like 75% or something like that, 60%. It's more than the
Why is
majority.
this on the table?
It's for that TV.
Why do we need it?
I don't know.
I don't know why it's there.
And so they have a huge infrastructure. This happened because they had an infrastructure for their store, and they were just like, we have all this space that we don't use, like during that's when it's not Black Friday or something like that. Why don't we rent it out to other people? And then eventually they built that business out. So that's huge for them. So they have the infrastructure to run a game streaming service for sure, and it should be pretty smooth. They're the top dog. They have like very little downtime every year for their entire service. Very serious over there. The other reason is because Twitch is in gaming more than Google is for sure. I'd say.
Yeah.
Or I said Twitch. I meant to say Amazon, but Twitch is one of the big things. They bought that. Amazon has their own gaming engine. Not many people use it though. It's called Lumberyard. They also have some gaming services on their AWS stuff, Amazon Web Services stuff. That's for running game servers and things along those lines. So they're already poised to do this. They already have the relationship with the community. They already have the infrastructure. They're already good to go.
Hey, as Hideo Kojima says, if I could do one thing, I can do everything.
He did say that. He definitely said that.
And as I believe in my philosophy, with when it comes to like, projects and games, all right, just don't suck.
Yeah. Google Stadia has not been having a good reception lately.
No.
Hence, don't suck.
Not having a good time.
So we'll see how that goes. There's a whole number of things I didn't even put in our news today. But I think the ultimate thing is that Amazon has to do it right. They have to somehow integrate it into Twitch Prime. That would be a big sell for them. Because they already have something that people are buying from them. Or Amazon Prime in general. Because they already have Amazon Prime Music and video and all these things. They can just throw this into their mix.
Yeah, and like Twitch integration with this whole streaming aspect.
Exactly.
It'd be crazy.
They already have all that set up for them, all that baseline. They just got to do it right. Because as far as I understand, people do not like the fact that you have to buy full games from Google. People don't like that because there's no way for you to download them and play them anywhere else. So they're on the service. If the service dies, you might lose them all.
Yeah.
There's no surefire guarantee of you being able to get those in some way, shape, or form, or even your save files or something. Twitch needs to be able to, for one, have this in a service format. I think it'd be cool if they gave you an option where you can buy the games, or you can pay the monthly fee and get access to a bunch of games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be better.
I think they'd be better if they
getting
wanted to do
access
that.
to it, yeah.
I mean, it'd be better if they just did just a service, but I think the option is nice.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool because Google doesn't do that right now. Google right now is you pay or you don't pay for the quality of the service, and then you buy the game,
Yeah, and then you buy the
and that's
game,
yours.
Because it's similar to what Xbox does.
Yeah,
with,
and I can see Google remediating that at some point by saying, "Hey, we're going to make a storefront on PC that these games will be localized to. So if you ever want to play them locally for whatever reason, you can. I think that'd be a great idea. I don't know if we'll ever see that happen. I think it's smart for them to do that, though. To close this out, there's a couple job postings that were about this. One of the job posting reads, "We believe the evolution that began with arcade communities a quarter at a time, growing to the..." Is that... Oh, yeah, that's kind of a pun in some ways. "Growing to the live streams and esports of today will continue to a future where everyone is a gamer and every gamer can create, compete, collaborate, and connect with others at massive scales." That's pretty obvious what they're talking. They're talking about making something game related here. The other one says Amazon wants to, quote, "drive innovation or innovative new use cases like machine vision and game streaming." So,
Cool.
I think I'm more keen on seeing what Amazon does than what Google does. So, I think they're going to be more successful at it as long as they make the right decisions. Next thing is that Hideo Kojima's thoughts are turning back to horror games.
Okay.
It appears that he's interested in making another horror game. We know from he made PT.
It's gonna be called TP.
We know he made PT, which is a playable teaser to what eventually would be revealed as Silent Hills, which is a reboot of the Silent Hill franchise.
Of which people are still finding new stuff in
I know,
PT.
man.
How many years later? Like 6 years
5.
later or something?
5, I think.
No.
5.
The console came out 6 years ago. I think it's been about 4 years.
You're
4
right,
to
you're
5.
right, you're right.
I remember.
But
I remember
Kojima,
playing that game, man.
but then Konami canceled the game. There's a whole fallout. We all know about that. So he hasn't made a horror game since. So he tweeted on a few days ago here. He said, "As to make the scariest horror game, I'll watch the scary movies in order to awaken my horror soul. The Eye is the Thai horror movie I rent when making PT, but was too scary to finish watching. The package is scary, so I rented the disc only.
Wow.
Will I be able to finish watching it?"
Gee, man.
Oh man, that's something.
The world may never know.
So he's interested in doing something again. It seems like.
Judging from how PT went, I'm very excited to see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And getting this out of the way now, there's no way I'm gonna play it. There's no way I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about because like I for one, especially I think I told you guys before is like, the games that I really like now are just thriller and horror based because that's just what really interests me now, but man. Some games are real scary. Real scary. I barely could play PT,
You
man.
know what? I'm gonna jump to some other news after
PT
this.
had me like.
If it's not Resident Evil, I'm not going to play it.
I couldn't do
Horror-wise.
it. I couldn't do it, man.
I'm looking forward to see what he does. I'm not gonna play it either, but I'll watch someone play
I'll
it.
watch Markiplier play
Or
it.
we could play it as a group. That's usually easier to do.
I'd be down to do that.
Yeah, because like I couldn't play Outlast. Either of the Outlasts, I couldn't do it. I had to watch someone play it.
I mean, could you imagine being in real life?
But I loved it.
Look, you can't see anything you're at, and you have to look through a camera's night vision mode the entire time.
Bro.
That's terrifying.
And if you don't have batteries, you just can't
Bro.
see.
Exactly.
Like I said, if I were ever in a situation with that, sorry, I'm killing myself.
I know. You're
I'm
not
like,
getting
you know
me.
What? This
This horror game is over.
The thing about horror games and video games, well, stories in general, is that in order for the hero to succeed, most of the time it requires a lot of luck and like chance circumstances and a lot of close calls. The odds of that happening to someone in real life are extraordinarily slim. Mm-hmm. So in video games, it's like, oh, did he survive that in the video game? It's like, review everything that happened in the game. They just happened to open the locker that you're not in, or you just passed them, or anything.
That's
or anything
a struggle too.
They kill the guy that happened to go in ahead of you.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and it's like,
you got real lucky, buddy.
think about that in real life. There's no, or like, they threw you over the rail, you fell 2 stories, landed on your back, your head whiplashed on the ground, and you're not dead.
You just got some bruises. That's all.
Exactly, you got some bruises,
All of
but
Tomb Raider. That's
Exactly.
all I'm gonna say.
if Resident Evil 7 has taught me anything, I can just pour some juice.
But when you
on it
do
and-
die in
and I'll
Tomb
be
Raider,
good.
it's brutal as hell.
Oh yeah. That's true.
So I'm like, nah. If I'm in Outlast, I'm jumping from the roof head. I'm primary lotusing myself to the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, all right, see you later.
Yeah, just I'm good.
I'm gonna steal something from the news blast because
You
I think
thief.
because it feels right to bring it up now. So it sounds like Resident Evil 3 remake has been in development for some time and is coming next year.
Wow.
This comes from YouTuber Spawnwave and has been corroborated by Eurogamer and its sources. There's not much more to say than that. We just know that that's a thing that might actually come out next
Shout out
year.
to the people.
Can't wait to see my boy Nemesis.
Shout out to the people at Spawnwave. I know, two of them.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Oh, you do?
yeah, they're cool.
Oh.
There was a like a game store down the street from me, like 3 years ago. Yeah, like those two, they ran it.
That's
I know
cool.
what you're talking about.
I remember that.
Wait, I didn't know this. Why did I know this?
Yeah,
I've heard Spawnwave before.
they're really cool guys.
That's dope.
From what I know, they're
I'm
really
glad
cool
they
guys.
made it onto the show.
Delaware making some representation out of here.
It was in Maryland.
Oh, that's true. Well, it
Yeah.
was in Delaware at one point.
Well,
B- Y'all ain't that special. Come on now. Come on now.
One of they used to be in Delaware, didn't they? They moved. Or was there two locations?
I don't remember. I don't remember if they specifically
Anyways.
moved. Anyway,
well,
so Resident Evil 3,
Yeah.
I thought about that being a possibility, but I didn't really think too hard on it. But now that I, assuming that it's true, it makes sense.
I don't hear too much about 3 in terms of like the best Resident Evil game, so I'm glad to see that it might actually get a remake and kind of revamp it a little bit.
It's-
Give it a good oomph.
From what I understand, it's one of those things where like if you were to talk about a Resident Evil game, you talk about 7 or 4.
Yeah.
But
7, 4, now 2.
But to people,
For sure.
but to people who have played Resident Evil, like the Resident Evil series, you go, "Oh, Resident Evil 3," and they go, "Oh yeah," and then you get in a big conversation about Resident Evil 3.
That's good to hear.
Unlike
I'm looking
Resident
forward
Evil 5
to
and
it.
6, where it's
I'm
like
looking forward
we
to
don't
seeing
talk
it.
about that.
I didn't play 2, but I've watched plenty of people play 2, and 2 looks great. 2 remake was awesome.
You know, when we're
Oh, you know what I forgot to put in.
I'm gonna actually play Resident Evil 2 at some point tonight.
Now
Maybe.
I know what our big discussion topic is.
what?
The Game Awards.
Oh.
I knew I was forgetting something this week. I was like, there's something that I'm not putting in my document here. The Game Awards.
We should definitely get to it.
Cheese.
That's so cheap.
We'll talk about that later.
I
But show that to
will.
Trey.
And I'm going to put it on the screen for later.
You know, I was thinking
So-
about making some kind of joke about that.
Remember?
I've seen some of these. but this is
We're
even funnier.
we're viewing something. Just watch for it later.
Just
That's
watch
all
it
I'm
for
going to
later.
say.
You know, I was thinking about making some sort of joke alluding to that, like the N64 or whatever, but
And if you're on the
I
audio
couldn't think of one.
podcast, you know what to do.
Come back later when you're not driving, when you're not doing your homework. You know.
Do
what
it
we're
at the
talking
same
about.
time.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, the reason why I said that is because that's up for Game of the Year. So
Resident Evil 2 remake?
Mhm.
Okay.
So we'll talk. We'll actually do that. We're not going to run through. Depending on time, we're not going to do what we discussed already.
Okay.
So next thing, the Pokemon Company is trying to sue Sword and Shield's leakers.
I think didn't they try to do that last time with Sun and Moon?
Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like I heard that they were going to do that with Sun and Moon.
I know that.
makes sense.
I know that Epic Games recently did this with the people who leaked the season 2 of Fortnite or the 2.0 of Fortnite.
I didn't even know that was leaked.
Yeah, it wasn't really found, but it was leaked. Like people didn't realize what it was ahead of time. They thought it was fake, but then when it actually came out, they were like, "Oh shit!" And now they're in trouble. So yeah, I'll just run through this real quickly. It says here, so they're filing a lawsuit in the Seattle court, like alleging 3 unnamed defendants because they don't know who they are yet, but they know that there are 3 people. They have an idea based on they have one Discord account that they know of that it says defendants allegedly posted stolen trade secrets from the strategy guide on Discord on November 1st. Screenshots of the Discord messages are shown in the lawsuit, which was first reported by Forbes, detailing the 18 photos posted from the unreleased strategy guide, each of quickly spreading across the internet to reach a worldwide audience, because it definitely did. That was like the biggest thing.
Anytime there's like a Pokemon game that's like coming out, people are
Mm-hmm.
just like, I'll just wait for the leaks.
yeah.
I see. So the Sword and Shield strategy guide was released on November 22nd, a week after the game. But I guess someone got it ahead of time and started leaking things. That's basically what happened. It seems like the whole document's here. Like you can actually look at the lawsuit, but we're not going to do that. This is from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. That's what the article was from. So yeah, that's interesting. But we'll see what happens with that.
I mean, what what can I say?
Yeah,
Yeah, you leaked.
you know what you did.
You know what you did.
Exactly.
You can't be mad. You knew what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even upset that you leaked it, because like, it's Pokemon. I want to know what I'm getting.
Just don't cry when you get in trouble.
Exactly.
Just unlucky.
Don't cry when you get in trouble.
It's like the same thing with the guy that hacked the 2K accounts last week.
Yeah, it's like
It was hilarious.
It was funny. It was hilarious.
But I'm not sympathetic when you get caught.
I'm not sympathetic when you get caught. You did it.
All right, we got one more thing, and then we got a big major one to go over real quickly.
All right.
It's a kind of a contradictory statement, but you know what I'm saying. I have to apologize because I said I was going to read that Phil Spencer interview by this week. Didn't get around to it.
Nice.
But I do have one thing I want to point out from another interview that he was in with a place called Jux Video.
Jux video.
Jeux.
Jux video. I
I
don't know.
don't
It's
know.
Jux.
French video.
We're doing Jux.
It's Jace.
Forget his jizz.
Is it act?
I hate you.
No, I don't know.
I was about to say I was going to be upset.
There's
just
two
reading
quotes from
the
this interview. One says, "Having a steady stream of great outgoing games on our Xbox platform as well as on the Game Pass is essential for us." The other quote says, "Our goal is to be able to bring 4 or 5 new big games to the platform every year." Then there's an ellipses. It says, "We do not have an imposed formula in terms of team size, style of play, ranking, or genre. We give our teams a lot of creative freedom and what they want to create." So he's kind of saying, it sounds like their goal, at least going into the next generation, is to try to release 4 or 5 big games every year. The article said AAA, but he says big, so I'm going to call big because big doesn't have to be AAA. You could have a turn-based 2D RPG that's made by an indie developer, and it can be
Crazy.
big.
Like
Still, it can be a big
Undertale.
game. So there's that.
That's kind of scary.
I'm curious to see what happens. It doesn't mean that it's going to be first-party exclusives. That's not what they said. They're talking about games in general. So this could be second-party exclusives, third-party. It releases here first. It could be anything like that.
That kind of the second one, the 4 or 5 big new games to the platform every year.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's not a. I hope they're willing to be flexible on that,
Yeah, it sounds like
because that's how games get rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with Pokemon, sorry to talk about it again, there are a few areas that do feel like they were kind of rushed, and
Yeah.
games are never good when they're rushed.
Like the textures in the wild area.
Yeah, there are certain things that are rushed. So I hope they don't go, okay, we're at 3, we need you guys to hurry up.
Yeah. It's
Because
his
that's
goal.
not freedom.
They've learned that mistake already. They did that with Halo MCC and they ruined themselves for it.
Did that with Sonic 06.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about Microsoft themselves.
Okay.
They did it with Halo MCC.
Well-
They ruined that one.
Still kind of applies to Sonic 06, but
Yeah, because Sonic 06 was like, I guess released on Xbox and advertised on Xbox too.
Yeah, that's true. So I think based on the second part of that sentence, it sounds like that's like the idea. Like they want to give everyone freedom. They don't want to force it.
yeah, I
but
hope
that's
it's
their goal.
I hope it's like you said, we'd like to have like that's what we're shooting for.
And it's fine if it's less, as long as if you're talking about big games, you're talking about first party games. You don't see more than 2 or 3 first party AAA games on PlayStation any year, except for launch.
Yeah, hopefully it's really like just release it when it's ready.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good thing. But it's good to see that they're shooting for have like a solid lineup of games every year.
Yeah, it's a good sign. It really sounds like they have a game plan this
Yes,
time.
Nico.
Just in connection with this, I would just like to point out the fact that they acquired new studios and stuff over this past year.
Of course,
so
they have plenty.
it's more reasonable to reach for that goal now rather than a few years ago.
Yeah.
And if they're going to continue getting more studios, then it's more possible.
And I said this a while ago, like a couple of years ago. I remember, like, back in the thick of it, where people were complaining about Xbox and PS4. People were, laughing at it and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, hey, look, honestly, if I were Xbox right now, hey, hang up the towel for this generation
That's what
Get,
that's what I
get, your,
said.
get yourself ready for the next one.
That's what they've been doing.
And that's what we've been slowly saying for the past couple of years is them, bulking up, acquiring some studios, getting things ready. Like I was like, hey man, that's just what's got to be done at this point.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like either before last E3 or before the one before that,
Yeah.
where I was like, Microsoft has to show up now or just save it.
Yeah.
Hold your cards till the next go round.
I think it makes sense because they didn't have enough first-party studios to make anything. They already canceled Scalebound. They already canceled Fable Legends. They did all that in 2014. Or no, they announced it in 2014. They canceled it within the
I
year
remember
or two
exactly.
afterwards.
I remember when that happened. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, they did a restructuring. Clearly, something
Yeah.
behind the scenes changed.
Kind of had to.
Yeah, and with the new studios in the last couple of years, there's obviously not going to be any major games ready for exclusive launch, like before the next console comes out.
Yeah.
And the only major exclusive that came out recently was really Gears 5, and that hit well. But there's not much. I mean, there wasn't even a Forza game this year.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Because they usually alternate recently, where they've been alternating with Motorsport and Horizon, but they didn't have one this year, which is good because I think you're going to see a Horizon. You're going to see a Forza game at launch. You're going to see
That makes sense,
you're going to
actually.
see Halo Infinite at launch. So you already got 2 games are coming at launch. You're probably going to see one of the games we talked about last week at launch, either Grounded or the Rare game or something. We'll see. You're going to see one of those at launch for sure. We'll see what happens though. They got plenty. Remember last week I talked about that quote he said that we got more games that we know what to do with.
Yeah.
So I guess they do have a lot of games in the development. So we'll see. As long as it's not like THQ Nordic level.
Hopefully it's.
They have like 40 games in development.
I'm confident of this, but still, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I hope it's not quantity over quality. I hope they have.
Yeah.
I hope they don't spread
course.
themselves too thin.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, and the last big thing for the Windows shopping this week is we're going to talk about Half-Life. So
Good old WoW.
Half-Life came back finally after however many years. There was rumor for a little while this is going to happen, and it was revealed I think on Tuesday, and then the trailer came out on Thursday.
I have not seen this.
There's
Neither have
there's
I.
a new game called Half-Life Alyx. Alyx spelled Alyx, about the character in the game Alyx, and it's a VR title, and it's coming out next. Was it April or something?
April 20th, I believe.
April 20th.
420.
Um.
Wow.
So
Fucking wow.
this isn't Half-Life 3. This is a pre-sequel essentially
Yeah.
between the first and second game.
Yeah, like I remember when we first were talking about it in our chat. I was like,
Oh, it's March.
No, that's not true, right?
Is it? I thought it was.
swear it was April. Hold on, let me check this.
So I'll talk more about it after this, but we're gonna watch the trailer.
This
real
is
quickly.
March.
yeah,
Yeah, March 2020. That sounds right to me, actually.
yeah. But I was like, they can't call this Half-Life 3.
So
They
this looked, and we'll talk about that in a second, but this threw me off. I watched this like, oh, let me check this out. People are liking it. Let me check it out. And I was like, oh, shit, this actually looks really good.
Can you
So-
pull your
Judging from
screen?
that one screenshot,
Yeah.
it looks like a
I
VR
gotcha.
game.
Yeah, like that. That's
Your
No, yeah, it is March.
thing's still
I
sitting
know.
there.
It's not in any of the frames.
Yeah.
so that's
By the way,
fine.
I just want to say this real quick.
Huh?
If you plan on getting, even though we haven't talked about it, if you plan on getting Half-Life Alyx, you can get it. You can pre-order it on Steam. You can pre-purchase it for 10% off right now.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
So you
if
get
you
a
know
discount.
you're getting it, you can get it $6 off.
Mhm. Which, if you're a Half-Life fan and you have a VR unit, I imagine you'll enjoy this. Yeah. So let's kick off the trailer, Nico. Let's give this a look.
Alrighty.
Give this a look-see.
So this is a VR game.
Yes, it's a
I
VR
don't
game.
know how loud
Yes.
this is gonna be. So
Did
we're
we
gonna
say
see
that
what's
already?
gonna happen.
Yes.
Okay, I'm a fool.
I think full volume. I have to do.
Let's see.
I think that's good.
Half-Life 3.
Cheap.
Cheap,
I'm
man.
here. So what's the plan?
We can get this
Whoa.
What we're doing here could
This is a
change.
VR game?
Yeah, this is a VR game.
I'll tell you right now,
There's no
and I'm playing the
straight shots to
Half-Life
the vault.
series. I plan on getting this and playing it.
I'm gonna head
So,
inside.
if you want to
Find
try it
my
out,
way
Wes.
Alright.
Got it.
This is a
Every
full
step of the way.
VR game.
You're gonna need a gun. Don't worry, it's unloaded. It's unloaded now.
Cheap.
This looks dope, man.
This
Doesn't
is
that just look
Go
dope,
find
man?
Kevin
Oh
when you pick
my
him up. I know
God.
you're coming. You need to get out of here now.
Search the shelves for some ammo.
that's
That's kind of nutty.
Oh God.
They've got Dad.
They're gonna find out what he knows.
God.
And then
For
they're
God.
gonna kill him.
All this is my fault. I never told you. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
You will not save him. Alex Vance alone cannot prevent his fate.
Close your eyes, honey.
whoa, man.
So what y'all think of that?
Yo, okay, so a few things.
Oh yeah, there's this part too.
Of course.
It's the boy.
It's the boy. Yeah. March 2020.
All right, so yeah, a few things though. So this is really interesting because like,
That's the best part. It works with all those headsets too.
yeah. So first of all, how many AAA games like this do we actually have in VR that are originally optimized for VR? So not like Resident Evil 7 like for VR or whatever. Like
That was actually
there's-
made for VR though.
oh, was it?
Yeah, it came out with VR.
Oh, okay,
support.
okay.
Yeah.
There is a lot of games that are built for just VR. And if you go look for them, they're out there. I don't know how good they all are,
I-
but like you can, even without playing VR games, you can tell this would be one of the best ones.
That's what I'm saying. And I
looks
kind of think like Valve really hit it off with this one because this feels like the best way they could have brought back Half-Life, in my opinion.
some ways, yeah,
Instead
I'd say so.
of like making the traditional AAA game Half-Life 3 or even just another thing in the Half-Life series, making it in VR gives it kind of a totally new identity. So now, even though it's Half-Life, it feels like you can't judge it comparingly to the other two games.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were really hoping for with this one because, like I think we've said it before on our past stream and everything, if you were to bring Half-Life 3 now, it'd be impossible
To meet expectations.
Meet expectations.
There's no way you could.
exactly.
There's no way you could.
This feels like a refresher. Like it's totally new. You can't really compare it.
Yeah.
And I think they really did a good job. So we'll have to see what the game looks like.
So a few notes before we go into details. The number one is the gravity gun is back in the form of a ability. Basically, it's not actually a gun anymore. You need to pick up or anything like that. In Half-Life, and then the other thing is that if you have a Valve Index, or if you buy a Valve Index or the controllers, you get this game for free.
Wow.
Yep.
Really?
So that means our friend Kevin, who has the Valve Index, will have this game for free when it comes out. And this is a $60 game. So
Yeah.
I know, right?
Valve is making moves. That's a play.
When's the last time I said that?
That's what I'm saying.
The controllers for the Valve Index, which I don't think are out yet, are they?
I don't know.
I forget.
I don't know.
They wrap around your hand, so it works perfectly for that game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the Valve Index, those controllers like track finger like really well.
Yeah,
Like it's the
which is why this works
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Wow.
So, alongside this release, Jeff Keighley, big video game voice, he actually, originally when the first Half-Life was launching, he did a thing called the Final Hours of Half-Life, or whatever it was called. Final Hours of Half-Life launch or something like that, where he kind of like talked about how the game was developed and all these things, and he put it out in like writing years ago. And then, so he was involved in testing and like seeing the development of this game, and now he's made another video about it. He's got some other things coming out for it. I had Nico watch earlier and compile some stuff from it. So Valve started in 2016. They released a game called The Lab, which is just basically a game that you can test VR mechanics and try different things. You can download it right now. It's free on Steam. And then they wanted to figure out what they would do with VR. So they narrowed down their franchises to possibly creating a full VR game with those games would be Half-Life or Portal. Portal they said Portal would be too disorienting, so
Mm.
Half-Life is what they went with.
It would be very
Makes
disorienting.
sense, yeah.
I'd still want to play it, honestly.
Yeah.
I still would want
I'm
to
sure
play
a lot of
Portal in
people would,
VR,
yeah.
but yeah, it'd be fucking trippy, dude.
They put together a 15-minute demo with old Half-Life 2 assets. The testers really enjoyed it, so the game went into development. And then they said they wouldn't create the game for mouse and keyboard because of the level of immersion the VR build has, exploring shelves, cracking open doors to shoot through, throwing grenades, things like that. It couldn't be Half-Life 3 because of how daunting that project would be on top of the fact that this game is VR. So that's a thing.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Which we talking about, yeah. Developers are excited to continue making more to the Half-Life franchise along with the VR games. And I'll insert here from what they said in the tweet as well. Yeah, so it said, we want to put this out and see how the world reacts before we make any concrete plans to see what we do next. So if this
Smart.
game does well,
You could
or critically does well, you might see Half-Life 3.
There's a higher
Half-Life
chance
would be
that
in your
could happen.
hands, literally. Literally.
Yes. Valve's future could go in many ways and what they decide to create next, and Half-Life Alyx's reception is important to what they need to make, to what they make next. So, if you like the idea of this game, even if you're not a Half-Life fan, and you have a VR unit or you plan on getting one, buy this game. Or if you plan on getting a VR unit and you have a significant chunk of change, I would buy the Valve Index so you'll get it for free. And the Valve Index is like a really high-end
Yeah.
thing. And it does say here, it says at the end of this trailer, it says you got the Valve Index, the Oculus, the Vive, and any of the Windows mixed reality headsets are all work with this game. So you have wide support.
Dope.
On top of that, so Jeff Keighley on Twitter, which I already talked about his involvement with the game, said, I've played through Half-Life Alyx. It took me over 15 hours and seen it in multiple stages of development. This is a full-blown Half-Life experience with a rich and vibrant world, immersive combat, great storytelling, and an innovative game design. That's his opinion on it.
Nice.
And then, which I guess you can take with a grain of salt because he's been involved with the development. And then finally, something interesting happened. So Campo Santo is the developer who developed Firewatch.
Yes.
They
Like,
were working.
disappointment of the game.
They were working on interesting game nonetheless. They were working on a game called In the Valley of Gods, and recently there was concern that the game was in trouble because some of the people who worked at the company started removing that game from their like bio on Twitter and things like that. That part of their website was removed from like the developer's website. Turns out they're actually helping with development on this game, Half-Life Alyx.
Oh.
So that I guess explains the problem with that. Yeah, that's everything. What do you guys think?
I'm very excited for that. That looks really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.
I'm curious what Trey has to say. He's sinking. He's got a sinking face on.
Yeah, I see the
He's
gears
ready to
turning.
say something.
So, all right, I've never played a Half-Life game. I just wasn't that interested in it.
Neither have I.
Um,
to preface that.
I assume it's does it have a history of like puzzle mechanics?
Yeah, there's some like puzzle to it. It's not like puzzle when you think puzzle, but it is like
It's not Portal.
you have to figure stuff out. It's not just like super
Linear.
easy to figure out.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought because the puzzles felt, at least from what I saw of the brief clips, it looked like someone who was used to building puzzles for Half-Life, which might sound weird, but if you're gonna put puzzles in a game, it has to fit with the context of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't just put puzzles for the sake of putting puzzles. Otherwise it just feels unnatural. It feels like you're doing a puzzle, and that's not what you want to do. So that's what it looks like. And I know I might be getting too like into it, but the electrical part where like you see all the electricity and it looks like you have to like turn shit to probably like turn the power on. I hope they're not the type of puzzles where it feels annoying to do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it, but I could always be wrong.
We'll see.
Also, the fact that it's VR always worries me because it looked good in the trailer. It looked really good in the trailer. That's not how I can guarantee you that's not how the game's gonna play. or at least it's not going to look that smooth.
Well, of course, so the VR headset, depending on which one you use.
I was gonna say because
Yeah.
like the Oculus we have, I know it won't look that good, but like the Steam Index, the Valve Index,
or a new
Yes.
Vive Pro or something like that. Those will look really
It
good.
would look better.
Yeah,
for sure.
hopefully. It's just that every time that I've seen VR,
Yeah.
like, it's not so much the game's fault as it is the hardware.
Yeah.
Where like if you try to go slow, then like your hand like fidgets about, or like it's easy to mess up the calibration.
Yeah,
on,
you gotta
on
have
it.
you gotta have a good sensor unit. I mean, a lot of the things nowadays are starting to move the sensors into the headset, which is how it should be ultimately. But we're gonna see what happens with that.
Also, didn't you guys say that you might see Half-Life 3?
Yeah.
I do not think so.
You don't think so?
I think no matter how well this game does, you will never see Half-Life 3.
Yeah, 'cause
Because
it-
didn't the writers of the original Half-Life leave Valve?
Potentially. I think they did.
I think so,
I'm pretty
but that
sure
doesn't
like
mean
a while
that
ago.
the project couldn't be.
I mean, someone's writing this
revived.
game, so if this game's written well,
Well, yeah, but like it's in the sense of like, I think it'd be a smart move to go down the path of, this was their Half-Life. This is not my Half-Life. What if this is a series, whatever they call this series, this is my Half-Life. If you have another person make Half-Life 3 that wasn't the original people, then because I guarantee you there are going to be people who play this game who've played Half-Life 1 and 2 that go, this doesn't feel like Half-Life 1 and 2.
yeah.
And maybe that's what they want, maybe that's what they hope for, and they just won't like this game, no matter how good it is.
Yeah.
So if I were whoever is leading this game, if I were them, I would kind of be cautious of those people. Mm-hmm. Because Half-Life, yes, it's a meme, but it could also, when it comes to the gameplay of Half-Life, either you've played it or you haven't.
Yeah.
You haven't kind of played it. You haven't. I saw my friend playing it, but I've never played it.
Well, it runs in the Source engine, so it's got a similar feel to any other game that runs in the Source engine, like CS:GO.
Yeah.
It's got that same, like, very fast movements, very smooth, very accurate feel.
That's not so much what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like more than just how the game feels like in an engine.
The soul of
standpoint.
Half-Life.
Yeah, the soul of it.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
The soul of Half-Life.
I mean, we'll see. It's going to be hard to capture that again because the graphics have changed drastically. I was watching Nico play the original Half-Life. It does not look anything like this because it was made years ago in like 2004 when PCs that ran that game were expensive.
Hey, let me say this. I haven't even touched Half-Life 2 yet. I'm playing Half-Life 1, and I can tell you right now from what I've seen of Half-Life 2, the games look fairly different. Like, there's a different...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They're pretty different. So,
Okay, so yeah, we'll see.
This is a prequel to Half-Life 2, so this has a similar look to the Half-Life 2 game. So that's where they should be.
You know, now that
similar.
you mention that, I think it's going to be similar to the situation with Halo.
where
Halo had a lot of people would argue that Halo has lost its feel from 1 and 2 to now. 1 and 2 are the games that everyone loves a lot. People love 3 and Reach too,
Yeah.
but for more of a multiplayer reason than a single player reason. 1 and 2 is my favorite story, I think, for Halo. It's really good. But like Halo 4 and 5 felt a little bit different. They've lost a little bit of their 4 especially. 4 lost a little bit of its arena style shooter feel, and it looks a little bit more virtual. That's what I've always said about Halo 4 and 5. They always felt more of like a futuristic wash over them that just doesn't feel right. Halo Reach is a lot more grounded because a lot of you see the grass, and it looks green. It doesn't look vibrant. It looks like it's you're seeing outside.
You see the dirt on people's armor. You see the armor's like wear and stuff like that. And in 4 and 5, it's like very pristine, glowy,
It's too
vibrant.
arcadey.
Yeah.
Looking at.
and why did someone leave Halo between the 2 points or something?
It switched developers, remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah,
used to be
it did,
Bungie,
it
and now
did.
it's 343.
And-
There's a lot of the same team there, but not the exact same team. Some of the big guys have left. Some of the big guys worked on some of the games and then left since then.
And that's the thing when anything switches in game development when it comes to like, you know, switching studios, someone leaving,
Yeah.
whether they be writers or otherwise. You want to preserve the soul as much as possible so you can retain that audience, but also change your game so that you bring in new people or just keep the game feeling fresh. And I
Yeah.
think if they call it I think if they bring in, if they make a Half-Life 3 like after this or maybe 2 games from now, replicating that soul while also being different is probably going to be the hardest part about it.
Yeah.
Not even so much the expectation.
I think
of it.
they're gonna do it. I think they'll end up doing if Valve continues going on this path of actually making games. I think they'll actually do it. I think they're gonna have to just be like it's gonna be the new, because Half-Life was something for PC gaming back then. Like it was a first of something.
Yeah.
Half-Life is the reason why Steam exists. Steam didn't exist before that.
Yeah.
With the new Half-Life, you're gonna see. I think this is actually running on a newer version of the Source engine, like a Source 2.0.
Yeah, they've updated. Yeah, the engine's
Yeah.
all updated and stuff.
So I think this is going to be just like Half-Life 3 will be the new Half-Life. Like it's gonna have a continuation of the story. It's gonna have a continuation of what they would hope to be is the soul of it. But it's gonna be a new Half-Life. It's gonna be the new generation of Half-Life.
It's gonna be 2 halves. 3.
Oh man.
I think that I personally would wait at least 2 games.
That's fair.
Not
I
even
feel
so,
that.
not even so much for the fans, because yes, the fans need to trust that this new team is capable. Especially when you're handling something that a lot of people love. But even so much for the developers to prove that they can do it. Because if this game, for whatever reason, bombs,
No, you're not gonna see.
don't even think about Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if this game does well, some people are going to be like, oh, it's a fluke.
Yeah.
You don't want that to be true.
People call games dead all the time when they're not dead.
Yeah,
We-
people are too
we've
quick.
thrown
Destiny's dead. Fortnite's dead.
We've
What was
thrown
that?
that around a lot
Zelda
in this
recently.
podcast.
I mean, Sly Cooper, for example. 1, 2, and 3 have the same, like 2 has the same soul that 1 does, but they just added to it and changed a few things. 3 has the same soul that 1 and 2 does. They just added to it and changed a few things.
And then 4.
And then 4, it was like you could just reskin this game and you could convince me that I wasn't playing a Sly Cooper game.
F.
I still liked it,
Yeah.
but I was still like, I was constantly reminded.
It's one of those things where
Something
if
changed.
you're gonna do something like that, you have to reboot a game. You can't say that it's another sequel because it
Yeah.
changes it.
Not say that it's impossible. It's just
yeah.
very hard.
Yeah.
Unless you were like very close with the original developers, so they kind of like rubbed off on you.
We'll see what happens in March of 2020.
I don't know.
I'm always yes. I am the devil's advocate. Hello.
That's perfectly fine by me.
I'm here to bring down your hype
It's a good
and make you acknowledge that
Good to be a little skeptical every now and then.
something could go very wrong. Hell, I'm part of the Sonic community. Oh, no. I know things can go wrong.
Oh God.
I am
Jesus
wrong.
Christ. I know things can go
I
boom.
am the wrong.
I've embraced the wrong.
All right.
All right, guys. It's time we jump into our tech news section.
Yes.
We got 2 things to talk about. Number 1 is the big thing we've been talking about for a few weeks now, since we started the podcast, which is Elon Musk and
child.
Tesla cheap. And
It's new child.
it's.
Revealing their
end.
N64 car.
His new child. His new precious.
Elon Musk
Baby.
revealed his Cybertruck.
He's been teasing it.
And it's a Cybertruck.
It's literally it is the most fitting.
It is
name.
not a Tesla truck. It's the
It's
Cybertruck.
the Cyber.
No matter how much I look at it, it looks like the PS2 didn't render correctly.
Now,
This is what it looks like.
Now listen to me.
It's Wesley. You got to put this like in the middle or something.
I'm putting
the whole time.
It's
the
right
picture
there.
Right here.
It's right there.
It's
now,
bouncing, too.
Now listen to me. Hold on. I know what y'all thinking. If y'all haven't seen it already, the design.
It's ugly as fuck. No, I'm kidding.
I
Well,
get
some
it.
people do think
I
that.
get it.
It's weird.
To me, it's weird.
futuristic.
It's weird. It's futuristic. I get it. To me, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh my god, it's beautiful," but I'm not. For me, it's not like the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But if someone walked up, looked at that, and went, "Damn, that is terrible," I can't say nothing to you. But what I'm saying is, you have to look at it as a whole, because this is like a entrance into this new arena of electric vehicles and vehicles as a whole. Like, this is a crazy interest into that, like, space.
It's a car that you're design-wise, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it.
It's a literal car of the future. That's what it is.
It looks like it's going to give me a paper cut.
So let me go through this. This is the Tesla Cybertruck. It has the same DNA as other Teslas in the sense that it is 100% electric, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It has the capability to have 100% self-driving,
Yes,
of
sir.
course. It is really fast. It can get to 60 at really high speeds.
It is faster than a Porsche 911, which I'll put that right there. What
There's
that
one up
car
there,
looks
actually.
like. Oh, I can't reach
If you
that.
stand
Dude.
up, you can get it.
I completely missed it.
I can't reach that. We're not gonna worry about it. You're gonna just have to take the picture. So anyway, like, it's faster than a Porsche 911.
It gets to 60 miles per hour under 3 seconds. It's like 2
Yeah.
something.
So the highest trim
that's-
is 2 point.
To be fair, that there's 3 iterations of it. The
Yeah, there's
tri-motor
3 trims,
one
yeah.
is the one that does that.
Yeah.
But the other one goes in like 6 seconds, which is not bad
Yeah, it's 6.9 seconds.
for a truck.
Is that the
stupid.
1 or 2 motor?
Huh?
That's the one. That's
The-
the
yeah,
lowest
sing-
trim
the,
level.
sing-
Oh,
the
okay.
singles, yeah.
So the
Yeah.
2 motor probably is like 4 seconds or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
Yeah, something like
Alright.
that.
Well, we'll scroll down. We'll find out in a second. It's a new design, clearly. It's something interesting. The entire body, the outside body, is stainless steel.
Yeah.
So
So
I think the whole thing's made out of like titanium. No, it's the whole thing. I forget the.
Vibranium.
It's a whole unibody.
yeah, it's
Gee, could you imagine?
Exoskeleton, yeah.
They shot a bullet at it. The bullet shattered. So that's a thing. It left a dent, but the bullet shattered. The glass is also supposed to be really good,
Yeah.
but it broke during the demo.
During their presentation, but Elon released a video of them doing the exact same test before the presentation, on stage presentation, and the glass did not break.
Yeah, because he said what might have happened is when they were banging on the door with a sledgehammer, which they did,
Yeah.
it might have actually
Previously.
messed up the glass a little bit.
Yeah.
He explained it in a tweet, but like he said, like it let air into some place where like then when the glass,
Okay.
it was a metal bowl.
So
Like
what
they
you're
threw a
telling
metal
me
bowl at
is
the
if
glass.
I wanted to break into this car, I have to get a sledgehammer first, then shoot the window.
And then the glass doesn't even crack.
That's the thing.
Or
That's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
shatter,
Though.
it still cracks.
A lot of
It just
people.
cracks.
A lot of people like made articles and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
the ball didn't go through the
all
glass. On a
the-
normal car, the ball would have gone through the glass.
The presentation was
It bounced off.
Was a bust, blah blah, because of that whole thing. You have to think of it in this perspective.
First of all, this is Elon Musk.
yeah. First of all, you have to think of it in this perspective, man. Even if the glass broke, right? Imagine going down the road, something flies off the bed of the truck in front of you and hits the glass. Normal glass, that's just going straight through the window and killing you.
Exactly.
The dude, it's a metal ball about this big. He chucked it point blank at the window twice, and it didn't break the glass. It bounced off the glass. It broke the glass, but it didn't go through.
Yeah, like it didn't shatter it. It
Yeah.
didn't go through the glass. It just kind of like it made like a big like dent with like cracks.
Yeah. So, like, even if it wasn't supposed to, and it's egg on Elon's face, that shit will save your life. Like,
Or if you plan on doing a drive-by, there's
It's
no
bulletproof.
possible way they can retaliate against you.
it's bulletproof.
So it's ultra hard 30x cold rolled stainless steel. And let's go back up
Yes.
for a second.
It's right here.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole like it's an exoskeleton. It's built as one piece because
Yep.
that makes it so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they also with the sledgehammer thing, they took a door from like an F-150 or something. They beat the shit out of it with a sledgehammer. They did the same thing to this, and it didn't break. So
Yeah,
it
it's-
didn't even dent really.
It's scratch resistant and dent resistant.
Yeah. So you can see it's got that really cool single headlight on the front. It's got a single taillight on the back, which I'm sure will be split up for things like turn signals and such.
Yeah.
This clearly isn't the final design because there's no mirrors. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
rear
yeah.
view mirrors, none of that. So there's obviously going to be some small modifications here and there. But this is pretty much how it's going to look because he opened pre-orders. Like this is up for pre-order. You go right now. You put down $100 and you put your name down for buying it, basically.
which they got 146,000
As-
pre-orders,
as
which
of-
means they got $14.6 million just from the
I was going to
pre-orders.
talk about that.
Yeah.
He actually updated that number earlier today, 200K.
200.
Damn.
Real quick.
At the time,
actually,
42% of those pre-orders were dual motor setups, 41% were tri-motor, and 17% were single motor.
Oh, real quick before we talk about the like percentages of who bought what.
Jesus.
So all of this, man, all of the Cybertruck and everything, all it comes with, the lowest trim level is 40,000, which is absolutely insane for the amount of shit you get with this package.
Oh yeah, this is affordable.
This
You
is
can
an
pay-
affordable
It's
car.
like 39K for the single motor
Yeah,
model.
the lowest
Oh,
trim
but
model.
it's a 6-seater. It has a middle
It's a-
seat in the front
yeah.
row.
Mm-hmm.
The concept or the prototype here has a marble finished dashboard with nothing but the screen and a yoke wheel.
Yep.
It's nuts.
And they
Absolutely.
also made an ATV, by the way.
Yeah,
They put
It's their own ATV. You
like
can
an
pretty sure,
Elon.
I don't know when you can buy one, but
Yeah.
that's
They put gaming chairs in the front seat.
basically.
Elon gets me sick, man. He finished talking about the Tesla truck
Could
and
you
everything.
imagine being in the rain in that car?
I know.
That just sounds. Oh,
But he gets me so sick. He was getting ready. He finished talking about the Tesla truck and everything. He was like, "All right, thank you. Oh wait. And we made an ATV also." And he rolled out the ATV. The ATV goes into the truck and charges in the truck.
yes.
It's stupid. It's stupid, man.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway.
Oh, by the way, they also showed a video of this thing towing an F-150 up a hill while the F-150 was trying to go down the hill.
Yeah.
So that's how strong this is. I think that's the tri-motor version, but still,
Yeah.
that's still a lot.
So-
of
I
towing
want to
capacity.
add, if you get hit by this thing, it's
It's over.
I will say that's one thing I thought about is if
You're done.
some person uses
Look
this
at
thing
the
for
camping accessory,
terror-
man.
like some terror
Yeah.
thing.
Purposes. Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Bro,
if you
you
get hit
step-
with any car,
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
if you step on the gas, you just keep going.
I don't know.
Trying to break into
What
a bank,
gas?
you'll go through.
There's
you'll-
no
Oh, you true.
facts. You step on. If you
You
step,
step on the electric.
I was about to say. You step on the current.
Step on the current.
That's actually a good way to say it.
That's the new phrase. That's gonna be the new phrase of the future.
you step
on the current.
Trey's
current, man.
patenting that phrase or coining that phrase right now.
Hey man, go
Elon,
work
I'm
at Tesla.
Elon, I'm here. I have ideas, and I'm black, so no one can call you racist if you hire me.
That's true. They'll call him racist if he doesn't. No, just
That's a
kidding.
good question though. Surely someone else has had this conversation. We just came up with the
Yeah.
word current, but has someone else had any other ideas?
Exactly.
I'm
Step on the
curious now.
gas, step
What else
on-
is there on the internet?
Step on the
Currently, no.
electric. Step on the current. I like the current better.
Give me some more current. You know,
Hey,
bring up the amps.
No one heard me.
Step on. Nah, that doesn't work. Not amp. What?
I
I'm
was like,
talking from a
also that
physics
trailer is
perspective.
something I'm assuming they're
To
going to
get
release
more
too.
current.
Yeah. They have like campers and stuff too as like
Yeah, there's a
yeah accessories.
what you call it? This it has 100 cubic feet of
That's
storage
like a
in the
fu-
cabin.
That looks like a
Like in the
futuristic
whole-
trash can turned sideways.
So anyway, back
Holy
to
shit,
back to
man.
the numbers though. So, what's crazy is so the trim levels are
Like
the
you scroll down there, click tri motor and keep it on
yeah,
that.
yeah. So the trim levels are the single motor as a single motor or a single electric motor. That starts at 40,000. The dual motor starts at 50,000, and then the tri motor, which is the highest trim level, starts at 70,000. 42% of the 146K as of November 23rd bought the dual motor. 41% of those people bought the tri motor, and only 17.
I already said that. Or so.
I know, but I'm reiterating since we talked about the pricing.
So
and stuff.
the dual was the most popular, and the tri
Yeah.
is right behind it.
Exactly, which is
pretty
crazy.
crazy.
Because like the thing starts at 40,000.
Well, you already know dudes that are like
course.
Tesla got the money. And
Yeah, of
also
course, yeah.
want to get the best of the best.
I also want to point out the dual and tri motor are all-wheel drive. The single is rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's
So that's probably
that
one of the
acronym
big decision points that people probably made in getting the dual and tri motor.
So yeah, 0 to 60 in under 2.9 seconds. 500 plus miles range. That's estimated. Of course, you can't know for sure. Yeah, storage 100 cubic feet.
Oh, they call the trunk the vault, by the way.
Yeah, and the vault is 6.5 feet long. It has 14,000 plus pounds of towing capacity.
Stupid.
That's insane. That was that 7 tons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Autopilot is standard, of course. It is more expensive to get autopilot on I think the single motor one. You have to pay extra for it. Go back to that for a second. Oh, it doesn't say. Okay, so yeah, no, standard means something else. All right, go back to the other one. So yeah, and then it's got adaptive air suspension. Ground clearance is up to 16 feet, or not feet. That'd be crazy. Inches. Approach angle 35 degrees. Departure angle 28 degrees. I don't know what some of those means, but
Yeah.
whew, man, this is
That has to do with
it's a beauty.
the angle the car can go out without the front or the back of it hitting the ground.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
That
So
makes
like
sense.
I've seen a video where it's like super low cars. Like these dudes have to get out of the car and put these boards down so the low car can get over a speed bump.
I
so-
hate
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's what
Lowriders are
it's
so
talking about.
weird.
Dude, it was the funniest thing. I think it was like yesterday or 2 days ago. I was at work and they added an extra speed bump, like like the smaller ones that
Oh,
raise
that's
your car
funny.
slightly higher. And
Real quick, that's funny. At my job, which I drive Amazon trucks, they took out all the speed bumps.
well, this one they
in
add-
most station.
this one they have the normal ones, the ones that are longer, and then they added a like shorter yellow one. That's like more annoying,
Okay.
so you have to slow down.
Remember
And-
when we were laughing earlier?
Yeah.
When?
This is the about the picture that we were seeing on my laptop that we wouldn't show you then.
Which I never saw.
Here it is now.
It's in the discussion channel. Or
Go,
the-
go
I mean,
take a
the
look at
newsfeed
yourself.
channel.
It's funny. It's with the times. We're here.
Pretty sick, man.
I've seen so many of these on Reddit. And
I know.
Facebook.
People are
Yeah,
saying
there's so
things like
many memes.
Warthog. Oh, by the way, this car might be in Cyberpunk 2077,
Yeah.
which would be dope.
Mhm.
That'd be awesome. It fits. It would fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Man.
Everything's coming together.
Forza, listen. You
Oh,
guys
Forza?
y'all gotta get Teslas in the game.
Wait a minute. We're on to something.
Dude, imagine Forza Vista. You could just go
Yes,
sit in that
sir.
car in the game.
Yes, sir.
Man, all right. Come on, yo. All right.
All right.
Xbox.
You can Xbox.
Playground.
So
Turn
Elon.
what is it called?
this,
Turn
Elon.
Dude, all you gotta do is send him a tweet. He's got it done. He's like,
Yeah,
all right.
man. He's on
exactly.
Twitter. He's on Twitter, man.
This man was like, can we have what do you say? Can we get a special edition of the Cybertruck that uses metal from the Mark I that just exploded that they tried the other day? He said, sure. I was like, oh, all right. This man was just like, sure, why not?
Exactly.
There's also a matte black color of this, by the way.
Oh yeah, there's a matte black.
Have
color
we seen
coming.
pictures of that?
No, we have
no,
not.
I don't think there's any renders of it yet.
You can Photoshop it.
Alrighty.
I'm sure someone has.
So is that it? There's one more thing.
In the tech news.
That Elon. Well,
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
yeah. I put this in just now, actually.
Yeah, I read
so-
this before it was on your screen.
So yeah. So Elon tweeted actually yesterday. Cybertruck is our latest product unveil for
last
last product unveil for a while, but there will be some mostly unexpected technology announcements next year.
So it sounds like we might be seeing some new stuff.
Tesla's doing some new stuff.
Oh man,
And Elon is working around the clock, as I said before.
how does that man live? I have no idea.
He doesn't even know.
It's true, actually.
He said that. He's like, people wouldn't want to be me.
Exactly.
Yeah, he knows that. We all know that now. We watched the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, man.
Anything else?
That's gonna be it for me, Chief.
All right, let's pull this up. We got one other quick thing to look at
What
in
is
terms
that?
of tech before we jump into.
I saw a
News
number,
Blast.
and that's blowing me.
Numbers.
So this is just tech related for no reason. This computer is 26 inches tall and houses a 400,000 core processor. It's only like 2 feet, a little over 2 feet tall, which is like my tower.
400,000 core processor.
I'm gonna read this article because it's really quick.
By the way,
Put
regular
that into-
computers.
Put that in perspective of what a normal, how many cores.
I was
a
about to
normal
say, a
processor
normal
has.
Okay.
computer.
Your average computer has 4 to 8 cores. The high end ones coming out from AMD and Intel recently have like 32.
Yeah.
So this has got anywhere from like, what is it?
But this is one of those things.
100,000?
Hey,
It
quick
has
maths.
a very
50,000
specific
times more.
function. That's what these are for. These kinds of computers. It says the world's largest computer chip. Oh, this by the way, this is PC Gamer, and this is Paul Lilly. The world's largest computer chip boasts a whopping 1.2 trillion transistors and a staggering 400,000 cores, dwarfing the latest generation AMD Ryzen and Intel Core processors in both regards. Even so, it's small enough to fit inside a computer that stands just a bit over 2 feet tall. The system is the Cerebrus CS.
Yeah.
Doesn't say Cerberus.
Cerberus. Yeah.
Cerebrus. I don't know, something like that.
Cerberus.
CS1. And you'll notice I'm not calling it a PC. It doesn't qualify as one, so don't expect to see the Black Friday deals on this thing. The CS1.
Oh, I thought that was in the article.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It's in parentheses.
Oh.
The CS1 is a computer though, and according to Cerebrus, there is no other system in the world that is faster at processing artificial intelligence workloads. Quote, the CS1 is the industry's fastest AI computer, and because it is easy to install, quick to bring up, and integrates with existing AI models in TensorFlow and PyTorch, it delivers value the day it is deployed, said Andrew Feldman, founder and chief executive officer of Cerberus Systems. Depending on workload, the CS1 delivers hundreds and thousands of times the performance of legacy alternatives at 1/10 of the power draw and 1/10 the space per unit compute. You may recall I wrote the actual processors several months ago to recap. So this guy's talking about his article about this processor that's in this thing. I'll skip to this. This is the processor. That's a keyboard. That's the actual processor.
How many pins?
I mean, like it's probably soldered. I don't know if there's pins.
Oh yeah.
Still, it fits inside a system that is smaller than some mid-tower PCs. At 26 inches tall, the CS1 takes up a third of the space in a standard data sack. A third of the space in a standard data center rack, yet can replace hundreds or thousands of GPUs that would normally consume dozens of racks. Before anyone asks, it's not designed to run Crysis or any modern equivalent. Instead, one of the first deployments will be in the Oregon National Laboratory, where it will be used to accelerate neural networks in path-breaking cancer studies to get a better grasp of black holes and to help understand and treat traumatic brain injuries. That's a big piece of tech right there.
Yeah, man.
I know
Tell
we
you
got,
that much.
I know we got the picture up, but for the audio listeners, this processor is right. That's what it is.
Yeah,
the
it's a
processor
CPU.
is the size of a fucking mouse pad.
Like a sizable mouse pad.
It's like a 7 by 8 inch mouse pad. Actually, if you count those things, those are probably about an inch or so.
Yeah,
So yeah,
about that.
7 by 9 mouse pad.
Jesus
In
Christ,
inches.
man! Just wanted to highlight that. It's
Stupid.
It's not game related, but it is tech related, and it's really cool. All right, moving on.
I want to add something to the news blast.
All right.
Sure. Well, we're about to go in. We're going to news blast right now.
All right. Well, then let's just start with this.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to preface this by saying that I haven't gotten really all the information because I wanted to do when I heard about it, but then I didn't get to it. But
Alright, what is
I'm just going to mention what I was going to say. That's why I put it in the news blast. So apparently, something called a dark kitchen is emerging.
Huh?
Keep
going.
So yeah, so dark kitchen is basically Grubhub, all the
Yeah. Okay.
all the services.
now I understand where this is going more.
all the
see,
services.
okay.
Everyone's
So what's the catch to this one?
Everyone's doing
A delivery service of some
delivery
sort.
services for food and everything, and companies have started, like fast food chains and stuff like that, have started workshopping ideas to do these dark kitchens, which basically they're set up locations for pickup people.
Mm-hmm.
The location will make the food, but it won't be like a store, like a regular McDonald's or a regular Burger King or whatever. It'll just be a dark kitchen, basically.
Oh, it's just for.
And they'll pick it up from there and deliver, so that it's like a easier transaction than going into the store, waiting in line.
So it's a store that sells only to
Yeah.
DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all those guys.
Yeah, and furthermore, I think Wendy's and a few other fast food chains were talking about doing bigger ones where they sell like multiple chains inside one. So like you DoorDash people or Grubhub people can go into
I can see how that makes sense.
into a place and get Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King.
That's good for them if they can organize that well.
So
it's actually pretty smart.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
But oh god, is this gonna kill the fast food industry? Are we no longer gonna pick up food anymore?
I don't know. So
that's interesting.
All right.
So that's kind of part of the tech news section in a way.
Yeah.
All right, so
I
now
just wanted to mention it.
Let's get into the news. It's pretty cool. Let's get into the news blast.
The news.
What are we calling it this month? This is the last. This is the last episode of the month.
The conserving your nut blast.
All right. Conserving your nut blast.
This is the last one
for one more week. First things first. Pokemon Sword and Shield sold over 6 million units during its launch weekend. It's a lot of units.
It's a really fun game, man.
Oh, it already made it the 8th best-selling Switch game.
Oh wow.
2 million of those copies were sold in North America. And for Thomas Franzese from DualShocker says this not only gives Pokemon Sword and Shield the highest grossing North American launch in the series, but also makes these some of the fastest selling Nintendo Switch games of all time. So it's selling well. And that was the weekend. I don't know what it is now. Could be even more.
True. Though what I will add, not to be a pessimist, is that let me see. On the first day of release, Sun and Moon sold 10 million.
Ah.
Oh.
That's probably because of the wider adoption of the 3DS. That would be my presumption.
Yeah, there are more Switches than there are more 3DSs than there at the time than there are Switches now.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense.
No, I've seen people, throw around that statistic a lot. I'm just sharing.
All right, that's good. Some more clarity there. We already talked about Resident Evil 3 Remake. State of Decay 2 is coming to Steam early 2020 and will feature crossplay with the Windows 10 and Xbox One versions of the game. So if you haven't picked up that game or you want to play it on Steam or whatever, you're free to do that in February. I think it's February? I remember. No, that's something else. It's early 2020. So, looking forward to that.
Awesome.
We have another streamer who's left Twitch.
Oh my god, it's really?
This time it's Disguised Toast.
I know this guy. Not in
person.
In person.
But you know who he is.
This one hits hard for me.
He's leaving Twitch to go to Facebook Gaming, which is interesting because that's the first time we've seen that.
I saw the option to watch him. I did not.
Red Mercy is
there's a lot of people who are on Facebook Gaming now.
Melanie too.
Really?
Melanie Mac.
Interesting. Yeah, I know people are on there. I don't watch anybody on there. I mean, Voyboy, I think he used to cross-stream to there, which is kind of surprising because he has a partnership on Twitch. But, yeah, it's growing a platform over there. I don't know what's going on over there.
The only reason I know that Melanie and Red Mercy are over there is because for some reason it sends me notifications when they're streaming on Facebook. I don't know why that started happening.
You can turn that off.
I just haven't gotten around to it. It's been happening for years. For like a year now.
You could keep them but like unfollow them.
Yeah, so I don't know.
He was not hiding at all that he got money from Facebook to do this.
Oh wow!
But he said, quote, the broadcaster told CNN, or this is the article, the broadcaster told CNN Business that he'd received offers from, quote, every major streaming platform, but chose Facebook because it had the most explosive potential, as he says it. An undisclosed amount of money did change hands, but this suggested that the initial payout wasn't the only factor. A post on his Facebook page looks like it was around like $30,000.
Wow.
He held up the check, and I'm like, is that what it is right there? Like, can I see it? I think it looked like $30K.
Right.
That's a lot of money. I mean, he said he got money from every platform, but he was like, this is the one that seems like has the most potential. So that's interesting. He's part of Offline TV, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
That's interesting. Got people going all over the place over here.
Yeah.
What's the next obscure thing you could see happen? We have YouTube. We have Twitch, we have Mixer, we have Facebook. These are the 4 big ones.
MySpace about to come back with
MySpace has a streaming platform, it'd be over. Wait,
it's literally just going to be called MySpace.
Wait a minute. Hear me out.
MySpace and
you know how Twitch has the IRL channel. MySpace comes back as an IRL streaming platform.
Cheap. I mean, there are other IRL streaming platforms like YouNow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Or they could just buy the
We'll see.
name, the name of MySpace, like buy that name, and instead of call it IRL streaming, just call it MySpace streaming.
well, you could, but MySpace is still a thing.
Wow.
Surprisingly,
Doing what?
staying alive.
Sitting.
Apparently,
I guess the pedophiles have to have somewhere to converse.
you're not wrong about that. They already tried Tumblr and they broke Tumblr.
It was a sad day. My brother
What
was
was I
very
gonna say?
sad.
But you could see. Next thing you hear, like Pokimane streaming exclusively on Periscope,
Yo,
Bro.
give me six.
which is owned by Twitter. I don't know. We're probably not gonna say
I
anything
wouldn't
crazy like
doubt
that. I'm about to start making a segment on our show as who left Twitch this week.
I know.
Because every week there's one person. There's only 1 week we've had 2 people, which is the guy who streams Destiny and stuff like that that left alongside Shroud. Devil May Cry 3 is coming to Switch on February 20th, 2020. It will be $20. It will be the special edition that allows you to play as Virgil and play the Bloody Palace survival mode. And this comes after DMC 1 and 2 just came to Switch this past year. So, more Devil May Cry. Apparently this is the best one, according to people.
That's what I've heard a lot.
At least before 5. I don't know what the consensus is there.
I've also heard that DMC 3 and 4 are like hard as fuck.
So, you can play it on Switch for $20 coming February 20th.
It's a beat 'em up Dark Souls.
And then this was announced right before we went live. Battleborn, which you might remember, is the Overwatch style game from the guys that make Borderlands, has been removed from digital storefronts,
Yikes.
and the servers have been announced to go offline for good on January of 2021. So you still have a whole year to play
Why are
this
they
game.
waiting
You've
so
got
long?
14 months to play this
So
game.
they're giving you well in advance warning to play this game. The reality of the situation is though once the servers go offline, the game is entirely unplayable, including the single player campaign and everything.
Yikes.
Because I guess it's all got an online component. So if you want to play the single player campaign of Battleborn, your best bet now is to pick it up for like $5 at GameStop and play it.
That also means
Between now and next January, not this coming January.
that also means if you're done playing it, sell it now or whenever. Because
if you want to sell it,
Yeah.
you're not going to get
Well,
much money
he's
for it
gonna
anyway.
you might as well. Because
You're going to get pennies for it though.
Well, listen, in 14 months, it's literally of zero value.
Yeah.
You can't play it at all.
But if you're buying it for like $5 to $15 at GameStop, it's probably not going to get you more than like $2.
ya.
So, yeah, rip Battleborn, I guess. All right, guys, we decided, I don't know when you cut this, but we decided that we were going to cut it off into a separate section because we talked about it for quite a while. We're now at almost 2.5 hours into this thing. So that's going to be, we're going to post that separately at the same time as a bonus track. You can go listen to it or watch it on YouTube. It'll be a separate discussion about the Game Awards. But now we're actually going to close out the show.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank everyone for watching episode 7 of the Market Podcast. Thanks. I'm going to not thank you for watching the second time. I read that backwards. Anyway, remember to give us a like on the video, and if you enjoyed yourself, comment. We want to hear y'all's opinion on today's topic. Subscribe if you want to see more, and don't forget, if some of you bozos sitting there listening to the show wishing you could do your homework or whatever y'all get into and enjoy it, look no further. We're on a number of podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Castbox, etc. All the links are down in the description below. Same goes for you audio listeners. If you want to see anything from this week's episode, hop over to the YouTube at blackmonkeygaming.com. Show your boys some love, man. We're out.
See you guys next
Forget
week.
out.
Hope you have a good. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and enjoy your Black Friday.
Get out and buy that shit.
Comment what you bought.
There's plenty of deals. Go look up. Go to Wario64's Twitter. There's plenty of gaming stuff there.
Hey, and if you ain't watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna inflate your toes so you can't fit your shoes.
All right.
Goodbye.
See you guys.
See ya.